Yeah, I mean, yeah, most definitely. I mean, however you want to ride it, you can go ahead and just hop in and just let people know they should know you by now. If not, Bobby Cash, um, educating us correctly, and I'm gonna let, I'm gonna let you speak about the situation with the misinformation. Including Charleston White and the whole other 9 yards. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, could we pull up those clips whenever I get to speaking on that too, so they can get a clear understanding on the information and stuff?
Yes, sir. I'm
Hold
pulling up
on,
right now
bro.
in the back.
I got both things set up. I got an extra one. Sorry about that.
You good, man? It's all good. All right, I'm about to have this thing in the background. The one that you had sent me, right? I got
Yeah,
that in the
no,
background.
the video clip that you had sent me when he was explaining all how the nigga stuff go and how only the white people can call him that, like those few shots and stuff, because I got the information already built up on what he was meaning by that and how
All
that's
right.
like an American standard and stuff.
I'll let you go ahead and explain. I mean, what I'm saying, slowly going. I got it in the background right now, and I'm gonna add it
Yeah.
soon. Okay.
But first of all, anytime somebody new get on here, because I see the numbers rise slowly but surely, and I appreciate that because that's true growth. Let me explain something to the black people who took offense before. I have nothing against you. I should have explained that better when I did first start speaking on AO's channel. So if anything was my fault, I'll take accountability on that. And I'd like to be appreciated for anybody who tunes in. But first of all, we got a big well, not a misunderstanding. We have a detrimental thing going on, like the black community, aka the indigenous community, which is the nationality, which people are going around calling themselves niggas, and it's getting them into a rut. Basically, what the nigga term means, and what Charleston White has actually spoken on, is like that's a label and a term that was created by white people given to you, and the term was actually created by the 18th century when white had became well established as a racial term at a time when enslavement of African Americans was widespread. David R. I think his last name is Rodiger, has argued that the constitution of the white race in the United States was an effort to mentally distance slave owners from slaves. And as Charleston White actually says, that was something that they gave us. I'm quoting this over and over again so we can get to the point. That was something that they gave us so no other people can call us that and they can know what dominance was. That's where their supremacy comes from. So, in a sense of you saying that you can take it back, he even explains there's no such thing as taking it back. That's something that was invented along with Black and African American. That was something invented to keep you mentally at a disadvantage and at a hand's length from them for even seeming like you're catching up in this whatever considered race of races.
My
I'm
bad. Yeah,
sorry, I
and I
was
got.
scrolling down for a minute. Go ahead. I quit talking for a second in case you had anything you wanted to say before I kept reading as well.
Oh no, you good. I'm following you right now, man. I already done got the clips, parts of it uploaded. I'm on the back of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whenever you want to get into that, but keep doing your thing. You good, bro?
But I was just making sure I wasn't going over and you needed to say anything. But basically, is the term nigga needs to quit. What he was basically mad at is some Asian Crips was going around calling him nigga and saying the word nigga. Well, to my definition, the word nigga should be only used by those who actually accept the terms and definition and consequences that go with it. It's not actually made for everybody. Do I sound harsh when I speak on it? Yes, I do, because that's how detrimental it is. You had a man who sits here and encourages the you sit here and tell you that the only person that should be able to call you a nigga or anybody should call anybody a nigga is a white male or anybody that's considered of a white race. When that sent the shockwave message to people in the South already, because you're going through certain, what can I say, repeats in history, that they can treat you any way that they want to because you already call yourself nigga for this reason. He is solidifying this for you. He is speaking for you. This is like Jesse Jackson changing you from indigenous to African American, from African American to black, from, you know what I'm saying? And it's a continuing cycle of people co-signing for you that's putting you in a bad place. So there's no such thing as two separate niggas or nigger or nigga. Any way you try to put it, there's no separation. So when you consider this connotation to yourself, you are grouping yourself with a group of people who already have a bad taste that is they're just rubbing everybody the wrong way. Because anything you see a nigga do is having to be something violent. And I'm not making this up. Listen to Charleston White. He's actually speaking from the mind of a nigga. It's one of those slaves that Harriet Tubman couldn't free. It's like she said, if I could have freed more slaves if they knew that they were slaves. And this is what she was meaning by that. So it's not that I'm trying to be rude. It's not that I'm trying to be like a Mr. Know-it-all. It's not trying to be like a braggadocious on a nationality. There's even politicians saying it right now. Black people, this is the one time where you should be picking a nationality of anything. I posted countless videos of politicians on the Breakfast Club saying by the year 2025 and the year 2035, Black people are not gonna be nothing of a majority of anything, period, because of how everything is changing so fast and how everybody's starting to push you out already. So it's not me coming to you in a vulgar way, but it's actually how I'm coming to you. So I needed to redirect that energy at the end of the day. I did it in an overpassionate manner, and I should say sorry about that. But the issue is very serious.
Yeah, shouts out to you, man, because at least you know it takes a man to go ahead and take a couple steps back, be like, you know what, I approached that situation at an angle that I should have did. Same thing with me going live about that Melvin situation. I did exactly what you did just now, and that is a man on top of a man right there. So salute to you, brother, on that.
Appreciate that. I just want to show everybody that at the end of the day, I'm not here to try to be like the only leader. I'm recognizing that as a whole, like Bobby Bumani said, I need numbers. So at the end of the day, I need to let other people actually see that I need other leaders as well. I can't do all of this by myself just because I can see the mural. But let me read you something from the American standard of what is considered law again. By 1923, courts had vindicated a common knowledge standard, concluding that scientific evidence was incoherent. Legal scholar Ante Heron argues that in reality, this was a performance based standard relating to religious practice, culture, education, intermarriage, or in a community's role in the United States. So, in order for the United States to run, you have to call yourself nigga. Black is a 1.5 billion or $1 trillion business for a reason. You can't actually be a black person, but you could be a part of the black entertainment industry without actually getting your part of the share. All you are doing is making consumers based off what they consider your actual nationality and culture and your way of life, your way of rhythm, your way of music, your way of everything that you can do naturally. Football, basketball, you're not getting paid for any of it, but you can consume as much as you want to. Well, they're starting to open back up tribes again. I said this on the last podcast with you, how the Cherokee Nation just quit the the legal rule of blood quantum because it wasn't even real. Well, you're going to get your reparations, but one thing is going to come with that. They're going to have nationality standards now. So instead of you claiming to be from slave descendants, they're going to have you actually prove that. They're going to be like, how can you prove that you're from slaves now? So if you don't believe that, you can actually go back and look that up from I can't say if it's actually congressmen, but it's people in political positions actually saying that. They'll be like, how could we repay you for slavery? There's no magnitude or number for that. And on top of that, if we did do it like that, how could you even prove that you were from slaves? They can tell you you're from slaves, but you can't prove it if you were to get reparations, unless you would do it under the nationality of like tribe membership or something like that.
Heavy, super heavy right there, man. That's
And
something that.
so,
Go ahead.
my fault. Go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
I said super heavy. There's some knowledge that they not putting out in front of our vision, in front of our view. I meant, but yeah,
But that's not even like the top of it. In 2000, U.S. Census states that the racial categories generally reflecting the social definition of race recognized in this country, they do not conform to any biological, anthropological, or genetic criteria. It defines white people as people having origins in any of these original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. The Federal Bureau of Investigations uses this same definition to today. So coming into America, there could be people from North Africa who could classify white here and still classify as African American. That is not something that you should be proud of claiming, because somebody who does not look like you can come here and still claim the same title. Matter of fact, they can claim they're from the Middle East, and I'm not seeing nobody from the Middle East come out with no tone lighter than mine, or some people who consider themselves albino. So it's they're playing a heavy game with you right now. And all the politics are not going to be able to save you. The only thing that's going to be able to save you is what are y'all doing now? Stuff like Ayo telling people they need to rehabilitate themselves. Stuff like me and Grump right now. Stuff like Katrina. Stuff like anybody, like urban politicians, anybody who's actually trying to get you to notice things that is going on. Always look at the terms that they use, niggas. You have to separate yourself with these people. I mean, from these people, grow a nationality, grow an honor, grow an umbrella, And none of that. You have to start using the money for yourself. You have to quit letting these people use you as a business. Being black is a business that you have no hand in. And I think it's wrong, to be honest with you. If I'm tripping, you can let me know, bro.
Now, so far so good. I had a thought that I wanted to ask you, but it has slipped my mind. So you just keep going. It's gonna come back to me though. It is.
That's a bad. Let me keep scrolling through this information I have real quick. It was something else I wanted to read.
All right, came back to me. So exactly what you had explained earlier is the same thing that Akon was doing when he first came over here. It's a difference. I keep using this reference, this example. It's like Akon and you know, from Africa straight to
Yeah,
America, claiming both of the things as compared to somebody who's like Wesley Snipes. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, and he knew how he could do that. Matter of fact, they have two different passports for that. They have a blue passport and a green passport. The blue passport is just something that you can take to say you're from America, you're African American or something like that. I think it's the green passport. It makes you international. It gives you a nationality. So you can even file your own paperwork like that when you go to fill out things. When you go to the DMV to get an ID, you don't have to tell them you're African American. You can literally tell them you're an indigenous natured person, and they would literally put race with nothing beside it because they even know the truth themselves. If you want to know why African American is a bad thing, look under the amendment. Look under whatever the 13th Amendment is to be an African American or a person of color. You're only three-fourths a person. That's not even considered a whole human in their eyes. That's like 75% a person at that. So you still have 25% of a large percent of work to do in order to be even considered something in their eyes. And being black is not going to do it. Being black is going to regurgitate the history that you're trying not to repeat, and right now it's really close to repeating.
Yeah, that's facts. What he's saying so far, just slowly but surely, some history repeats itself, but just in a different aspect, not literally, but the the
True.
cycle. Yeah, that's why I agree with it right there, definitely. And we gotta be aware of this, like how you saying. So go ahead.
I know I'm not as hype as everybody else, and like giving them like news and gossip to go with this shit, but honestly, it's actually this raw when you want to get to the root of the problem. I'm saying this for anybody who wants to hear something hype or thinking I have some news that's going to be like blown out of the way exclusive. This is exclusive. It is very tangible. If you stop listing you and your children as black, you will see that you get a lot of other separations and protections, just like you will see people in the Asian community. They have these communities for a reason because they fund these communities. You have Jewish communities, you have Asian communities, you have Russian communities. The reason why you have a black community to monopolize the way it is, nobody there owns anything. These people can actually get together and create charter schools, and people wonder how they do it. Well, in that section of the town, they actually go to all the town meetings and invest their money into what they actually want for their children to be separate from everybody else. And that's how they create another red line.
That amazes me how you had used America, like the Europeans with the Jews, because like when I've been looking back in history, it always like amazed me about how they could have just you know, we already in this system in America where, they pretty much dumbified the race and all that. So they come from another country to America and they like, nah, we Jews. You know what I'm saying? Like they just put it down like that. Like, nah, we ain't white or none of that. We Jews. So that actually makes me have a better understanding of what you're saying with every other race and their, they got their own culture type stuff and they stand
Yeah,
by it. But when it comes to black and black people, it's monopolized. It's just one way. It's not like, like a get together on certain aspects of it. So I get it now, kind of.
that's a fact. That's why in Jewish communities they got their own police forces and things like that. They don't play none of that. They don't do anything outside. They actually have eminent domain. Eminent domain is anything inside their jurisdiction. They have all law and control over. So nobody can actually tell them what to do because they fund it. Even if there's some crime happen over there, the only way that they can get involved is if they tell the Jewish police officer they want the police involved or the feds involved. It's always somebody connected from the outside in. It's not that. But in the neighborhoods that's considered black, nah, we're gonna send anybody we want to through there because anyway, that's our money ticket. When we need to get our money up or police checks are getting low, that's the areas they send them to get the tickets and all that other BS and shit like that. It's like a red target area is what I call it. Instead of red line, it's red targets.
What blows my mind also is that let's say put myself hypothetically speaking, let's say I'm an Indian, right? And I've been
Yeah.
born in India and I go to schooling and I go to business and all the whole 9 yards. I specifically go to school in India to learn how to move into a high poverty area in America with most, as they say, blacks, to set up
Yeah,
a store there and sell it to them. Not worried about my life, not worried about, the violence and all that. So that just rings a lot of bells in my head right there. Think about it. Like, you don't know, like, how people be scared of Mexico because they be like, oh, the cartels and all that,
yeah.
propaganda, whole 9 yards. It's something that they know that we don't know, that many of us, I meant, that,
I'll
okay,
tell you
I'm
what
going,
it is.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You didn't even get to finish. That was rude as hell.
No, you good. That was what I'm trying to get to right there. I just wanted you to explain it.
Nah, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's just when it comes to everybody seeking out for help, if everybody look at it, everybody has a nation to help them. When what's considered black people get in trouble, they can't look at Africa for help. If black people are getting messed with in America, you can't look at Africa to get upset as a nation either. But go ahead and fuck with the Asians and see who you have to deal with. Fuck with the Jewish people, see who you have to deal with. Fuck with the Russians and see who you have to deal with. And it goes like that. But in America, there's one group of people that if you fuck with them, there's no nation backing them at all. There's people that'll be there for them. Like, oh, we get it. We see what's going on. But if you actually turn around and actually go to war with them, unless they get connected to who they truly from and who they truly with, there's no people there to go to war with.
Heavy. I want to say this one more thing though, because I've been looking at documentaries, and I remember I saw within the Jewish community, it was like a couple of people I had came across that were indigenous, but it's like the culture and the upbringing of them was Jewish, and they had reaped all the benefits that was set up for them. You get what I'm saying? People that had kind
Yeah.
of looked like me, but was Jewish and going through that whole aspect, it was getting the benefits. So I get what you're saying about that, the understanding.
Some of them come straight from over there in Israel. That's the crazy part. They look just like me and you, be born from there and everything, and they get the whole benefits. The only thing that they can't do when they get over here is tell the truth about some other stuff, like the stuff we're talking about now. If
Correct.
you ever see one of them do something like that, they'll disown them or ban them or tell them they're doing something crazy, or they'll look at them sideways. That's just like what's considered race over here. If you date outside of it, look like you tarnishing it, or that's just like say it's somebody from the Asian community date outside the community that doesn't have a nationality, and they look at them like they're doing something wrong. It's one of those type of things.
Yeah, my bad. I just I got a notification.
No,
Uh,
you good.
it's who is this? Oh, shouts out to Gorilla Kid. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight him right here for showing support, y'all. Gorilla Kid always coming through on the Big Facts podcast. Shouts out to Ayo. Even over here, he's working overtime with us. I appreciate that very much.
Oh,
And
that's
you
a
want me
fact. Shout out to all of them as well.
exactly, yes, sir. You want me now to put up that clip where you saying with Charleston White, or you want to keep on flowing?
Yeah, you could throw that up real quickly because I'm gonna read a few things after that go up as well.
Okay, so you want me to kind of start from the beginning, or I had stopped at this sound bite right here. It was talking about, I think it was the Asians again. If you want me, I could go through different parts of the videos and you could break it down if you want.
Yeah, you could start right away from where you at. That'll be good as well.
All right, that's great. Okay, and once again, for the people who are just joining in, this is for educational purpose, and this is fair use, and we do not mean to intend any type of hatred
No
amongst
harm.
other. No harm. This is just for educational purposes right here. But all right, so here we go.
Them over there, them Chinese people. I ain't bringing no Chinese baby home.
What's the solution though? Because y'all keep going
Ain't
back
no
and forth.
motherfucking solution. Them people, nigga. I draw the line in the sand. I ain't never liked them. We ain't never liked them. They ain't never liked us. We ain't fit to pretend black and Asians get along. We ain't even fit to pretend that.
My bad, Bobby. Just let me know when to stop, okay?
All right, go ahead.
The way the black woman get done in them nail shops that we've been seeing all the all the motherfucking videos we done seen of the Asian men beating the black woman, dragging her, kicking in the head, the Chinese woman jumping in. Where's our protection at, homie? That's all I'm saying. What get these motherfucking people the right, homie, to spit on us, shit on us, call us nigga, and think they got the right to do this? They mad because I'm saying they ain't no niggas. They ain't no motherfucking niggas. Stand next to me with your pants down.
All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, now listen to what he's about to describe a nigga is. This man is literally about to go into, you ain't no nigga unless you can stand beside me and your pants can hang and so forth and so forth. So anytime you hear somebody say, I'm a nigga, you got to think about why these people look at you wrong every time you go out and call yourself that in front of them. The whole definition was created out of the connotation from the minstrel show, the characteristics from the minstrel show, and the people that they label black. That was the first time a black person was introduced to the television, and all the characteristics that came with it was either stupid, savagely, or musical, dancing around, doing some happy sambo type stuff. So anytime that you claim these connotations, this is the definition that they have in their mind. So if you wonder where this scary black person comes from, every time you claim these connotations or you claim these labels given to you, this is what they're picturing. You can go ahead, Grump.
That's bars, yes, sir.
Down in my pants down and look me in my eye, and I know why you inferior to me. You, the white boy, I know why you inferior to me. Wrong, man, they wrong, man. They a whole video of Asians calling Charleston saying, that nigga. Nigga. The Asian community, that's black hate. Asians hating a nigga, calling me a nigga. He can't ever call me a nigga. He ain't a white man. White boy the only one got the right to call us niggas. Can't nobody else call us niggas.
Well, what gives them the right?
He give us that name.
Pause
We
it.
didn't give ourselves that name.
Pause it.
Yes, sir.
Is anybody hearing what he just said? No, the name nigga is nothing of your caliber. That has nothing to do with you. And if you keep calling yourself that name, the definition I just gave you on why they labeled you black and white, and it was by the late 18th century, it was established, drawn in with the Constitution of the government. These are actual laws. I'm not making none of this up. If you call yourself black, in a white person's mind, that is meaning I still have a slave to watch, because why? They know the definition and the history of the things that they're living under, considering Western European indoctrination. Racism is the basis of any ideology, rules, or characteristics that are based under colorism. If you trace down the road, racism or racial is going to lead back to racism. If you lead back to race, is going to lead back to racism. Anything that you discover about race or colorism is going to lead back to the 1930 terms racist.
Damn.
Point blank, period. And that's a whole nother matrix that most people don't grasp or live in. This is a different wordplay that takes you into a whole nother mind frame. So you're basically speaking their language, but don't know you're speaking their language. So every time you back yourself and say, I'm this nigga, you're giving life to a person that they created, and you don't even know why they created them. Exploitation, justification of killing you. They can't get free hangers anymore because things have changed a little bit. I won't say everything has not changed. I would not say that at all. But the main thing that they're trying to do, it cannot change because of the wordplay and the indoctrination you're under. As long as that they're running things and the language stay the same, and you keep calling yourself Black or African American, you won't ever get no help. There's no help for no like that person. That doesn't exist. It's a color.
Hey,
Matter
real quick,
of fact,
Bobby,
it's go ahead, my fault.
I want to put this in real quick because you had a spark just came in my head when you saying that people relate to as nigga and black and all that. So I remember I was on this live with these brothers from UK and all that, and this brother was talking about how he had got stopped at the subway train by the police, and he had been following all their orders, but they still been giving him a hard time and searching him. And he was like, I don't know why they was doing that. He wasn't like, in tune, I guess. And other people was like, because you're black. Like it was normal. Like it's normal for them to do that because you're black. Can you explain that more? Like it's kind of subconsciously and subliminally being like, oh, he got killed by, oh yeah, because he was black. Or that's not normal though. Actually, not at all. The wordplay. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The wordplay gets you because the words that they teach you nowadays are words under the law. So the reason why that they was like it's normal to them where they come from and everything that they learned since they've been here and the elders have passed down to them. When you see somebody like that, you stop them. We haven't been taught that. We've been taught that they've been taught an ideology to where if we're around and they feel like harassing you, they have a right to because they're being backed by a higher power who believes in the same belief. And plus, to be an American is nothing but a racial mind frame, meaning if you don't believe as they do, live as they do, or have the concept as they do, you're an outcast. And they try to make you feel shame. It's called collective shaming. And if you do things in the collective, you may get somebody to feel like they're not themselves, hate themselves, or a lot of other things that come with that as well.
Heavy. That's all right there. That's all, brother.
But most people don't like to hear the terms like acting black or acting white. Those are real things. Let me read a few things to some people. The methods for recognizing a set of behaviors that constituted acting black and acting white, furthermore, how a person acted or performed could determine their racial status and the benefits and or punishment that came along with racial classification. So when I'm saying this, every time you call yourself black, think about the police brutality that you want to stop so bad. Every time you claim that, you're putting yourself in a level of justification that does not come with any of those protections at all. The performance aspect of racial ascription continues today, despite contemporary claims that there is no such thing as acting white. Race is such more than an ideology. It requires powers that turn ideology belief into a structural reality. Walter Johnson's work will show under the U.S. American slavery, you are ascribed a race determine the difference between enslavement or freedom. Race only matters if you're enslaved or free. So if you actually want to have a sense of living free in this life, you're going to have to drop that race. I know it means everything to you because you have people that would consider your leaders and elders claim it, but you have to ask yourself, out of any of these time I was listening to these people like MLK, did they ever show me anybody from their family that was slaves or anything of that nature at all? Like, has any of that stuff ever occurred? Like, because they work for the government as well. I also had to second guess some people who was leading me besides Malcolm X because he checked out on both ends. He was ready to go to war with anybody who was going against the word of Yah.
It's facts right there. That's just how it's supposed to be. And oh yeah, what about Marcus Garvey though? Yeah, I heard about him too. They didn't speak too much about him. Go ahead.
Yeah, to me, people who want you to fight before you intellectually accomplish things through an order that you want to change. I know that you get harmed. I know that we get harmed and stuff like that. But if it's always resulting into fighting first, I look at them as sort of a suspect. Because why would you keep putting people through the same recyclement if you know it's not working already and you're losing a great number of people each time? That's not a solution. If you can actually sector people off into a position to where you can actually get somewhere intellectually and like use your own strengths and intellects to get you in a position to cease politically, and then you can have those people you call street thugs or gangs turn into actual people with protection, then you can move a lot different. Unless you have those line of protection and resources and you're just telling people to get angry and fight and listen to a whole black empowerment without a sense of God or seeing what the knowledge actually means, you're just setting people up for sacrifice.
And yeah, you're right. And there's actually nuances to that because when you say that, people gonna think that it's like the civil rights where they used to pour hot coffee on the people and beat them and drag them out. So we're not also saying that. Am I correct?
Yeah, we're not talking about them because they did it right, but they wasn't supposed to keep repeating the same cycle if they accomplished what they did to go through that. They were supposed to say, all right, we're going to need some actual backup for this next step so that shit won't happen again. At least get people who are willing to fight for a reason and stop falling for no reason at all.
That's the best way for you to explain it right there. Yep, that's good.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far and seem like I'm being offensive as well. But that whole Charleston White clip, you just played all it for me at the end of the day. You don't even have to play nothing else out of that as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, that's all right then. So you wanna how you wanna move with this right here, brother?
Oh, basically what I want to tell people is anytime you want to actually know what to do out here, chasing a bag is not going to help you. They'll tell you this every day. Just listen to the politicians, especially the ones that's considered elders, like Dr. Claude Anderson and people like that. Racism is race. Only thing you can do is break down race. And if you want to learn how that actually was going to happen, you should look up Francis C. Sumner, and he'll help you understand the whole point of view of colorism and race to its T. Other than that, you have to quit just thinking chasing the bag and saying fuck niggas is gonna help you if you claiming you niggas because you saying fuck yourself. You're throwing yourself for a loop. You have to at least start with a small group of people me, Grump, Ayo, and people like that. You don't got to stay well connected all the time. As long as you moving how you supposed to, things will fall in order. They might not fall in order all the time like that because if you're really moving and doing your thing behind the scene, things come up like that. But at the end of the day, if people start moving and take responsibility for their own intellect, black people, the only way you're going to get help is if you move in the honor. I don't care if you claim West African, what African you claim, but you need a nationality so you can get some resources. Getting that single bag and living check to check or a few thousand as they do things economically is not going to help you soon. And I would like for you to feel comfortable amongst each other enough to where you don't feel like you got to watch a nigga all the time. If you separate yourself from the niggas and quit being around people you got to watch or people you rap about, and you know you're around like that, you will be around a lot more people that can help you move in an orderly fashion. Everybody has a position, but it's everybody willing to play it because there's actual work that comes in without giving you money at hand. And niggas are used to doing things for rewards.
And that was
So
heavy.
that's all I'm
You
saying.
gotta repeat that again. I was kind of heavy on how you said that there.
All I'm saying is if you do the work, if you sit down and see what you're most intellectual at, if you sit down and put in the work, it's gonna take you time. It took me a minute to get here in front of this camera or in front of this phone, because it took me years to get the information. Like, you have to sit down and follow your intellect. If everybody plays a position to the T and learn to start like separating yourself from the niggas, to have an environment you can go in and talk to people who have the same minds and likings of you, you actually can move in a fashion. You can get the bag all by yourself, and just like anybody who's made it already, they'll tell you it's not going to happen by yourself. Bobby Bumani told me when he first heard me speak, and I respect him for this, bro, you got a mind, but it's not going to happen by yourself. And he was correct. So at the end of the day, you got to separate yourself from niggas and set yourself around honorable Africans, indigenous, natives. I don't care what you claim, but come outside that black and nigga mind frame and be intellectual and see how far you can get as a whole. See how far you can trust people in a sense. If you quit putting your feelings in the way and put your intellect and business in the way, how far you can actually get. Remember, you don't have to be skin tight, but be tight enough intellectually to where you keep up and make sure you're following in line with whatever you're creating. That's all it is.
And I got another question, or example. I know this is like kind of random, but I like to use movie references. Okay, so you had that movie Get Out, right? And
Yeah.
when he was like, he felt like he was the only brother at that party when it was like secretly auctioning him off, and he had ran to that other guy, the other indigenous person, and you saw
Yeah.
how he went up to him. He was like, "Oh, I'm glad to see another brother out here," and all that. It kind of reminded me of how, what people call it, the black talk or the nigga talk. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad what you." And it's crazy because he looked at him like, like, what are you talking about? Like he was green. But I know many people, it is true, like he was thinking and looking like that because he was not in his right state of mind. Like somebody was like, controlling him. But I looked at it like, if we starting to take an approach like that kind of subconsciously, because we be in like good, like intellectual property exchanges like this, and then like an hour passed by and then somebody be like, "Oh, you know how niggas is, man, we do this and that." Yeah, it's just subconsciously like pulling us back though with it. So what you gotta think about that?
I like how you use that analogy, to be honest. It's like Get Out, you will reverse that with your intellectual side walking up to your nigga side and they thinking they meeting somebody that they relate to at the end of the day. But when you two start speaking, it's like, oh, hold on. You look like a nigga, but you're not a nigga. You see what I'm saying? That's how people should start seeing themselves. They should take each day or a day. It's gonna seem hard, and stop being a nigga. Stop thinking like a nigga and stop thinking like a black. Stop thinking as a nationality and start thinking as somebody who has an intellect. Pick up your mind and walk around for a day and don't think of things as a nigga, because you'll grow understanding. Niggas don't have an understanding. Niggas get offended very easily. Like, you can walk up to some niggas and be like, "Hey, you're a nigga," but they call themselves nigga and they'll blow their lid that quickly without sitting here understanding, like, hold on, why are you calling me a nigga? Are you racist? Let's have a talk about this. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's a whole different person. And niggas not gonna do that. An intellectual person to sit there and talk with a racist, like, why do you feel like that? You know what I'm saying? They get to know a lot of things, and that's what your melanin is made for. Your melanin is made to compute to everything around you. You're indigenous to this planet. You get most of your knowledge from the sun. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because if you're not kissed by that sun, you'll feel down. Your brain's not going to work. Your system, your organs not going to work like it needs to. So if you learn to compute outside of a characteristics and a label that has nothing to do with you, and just start using a mind and a frame that you never thought you probably had, or you probably do, and you just never used to it, and you'll see the difference. That's it.
Yeah, that is true right there. One more thing I want to piggyback off that. It had lost me, but I'm gonna get back to it, and then I'm gonna bring Ty question up on here though. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring Ty
But
question up right now because not the mind, but the memory's gonna come back to me. My bad. Ty said that. Oh, what the heck? Are you familiar with Hitler and how he modeled propaganda from racism in America, or from? Hold on, I think it was the other way around. But go ahead.
yeah, I've heard of that. Matter of fact, when I was first studying this and I was learning about how they did propaganda to trick people into calling themselves black, it talked about Hitler as well. Hitler also told the people. I didn't read all of it. I'm just going to read what I actually read myself. Hitler also has a quote that said he was killing off a set of people just because they was claiming the race of the natural, what is considered black person. So he was killing off fake Jews in order to reclaim the name of certain people in the nation so he could take it over how he wanted to, but it didn't go that way.
Shouts out to you for that. And shouts out to Don for making the art and science of revolution. I mean, worldview warfare right here. In this book, it's messed up because it's the green screen and all that. But he talks about the propaganda and the stages of it and it originated from. And it reminded me of that Hitler book that he made called Mein Kampf. I think I read a couple of pages about that, and that helped. So yeah, it's crazy how they could just like with the propaganda. Oh, it came back to me. Check this out. All right, so you said about when you walk up to a group of people of indigenous people and you be like, you a nigga, and they want to blow your lid back and everything, right? So that is equivalent to, I remember when, what's his name? Joe Biden was running for presidency and he went on a so-called black network and said, if you don't vote for me, you aren't black. So it's to the point where some people feel insulted by it and some people will fight to be categorized at it at the same time. All right, go ahead.
That's a fact. Okay, so what he did was he played the actual card that was made for him. When Joe Biden said that, he knew he would have people challenge him. He was like, "How you gonna challenge me? How you gonna tell me I ain't black?" You see what I'm saying? They created these characteristics so they know how you're gonna react. They know what to do, what to say. Matter of fact, there's a documentary on how to sell to the Negro. Like that's shit clear as day. They have shit like that back from the 70s, 80s, and like late 60s and stuff. So anything they do like that is to get a reaction out of the characteristics and the mind frame they built of the person. It's a sure win. Both sides are racist. One's just open, one's just friendly. That's all.
That's facts. And that remind me of with Sigmund Freud and during that Hitler time after the World War II, when we had hijacked half of the psychologists over there to help us with these colors and these fast foods. This was like going all in alignment with after the Industrial Revolution. So it's like you see the color red at a familiar restaurant, you gonna automatically subconsciously feel hungry. So it gets that deep with it. And yeah, we did bring that from Germany area. But I want to definitely show this part what you was talking about earlier. You said that if Francis C. Summer, this is the brother you was talking about. Can you explain it real quick for us?
So Francis C. Sumner was the first indigenous person to get his PhD in psychology. He was studying under Granley G. Hall. So what he was going to do was create a whole division of psychology based on racism. It was going to be called raceology, I think, if I'm saying it correctly. And what he was going to do is from race to colorism, break down how I'm doing now about how none of that shit is actually real. He was going to tell you how it was written indoctrination, how they first started with the languages from the conquistadors and how the Spanish invented, like, you know what I'm saying, how the Spanish say the word Negro and all the ideologies of racism in America is just one big constitutional history. So when he went to present this work, his predecessor pushed all his work to the side, but nobody could ever like really dismantle all of it. So it's still out there to leak. So what I would like for people to do is go and read this and see how profound it would be if you would know somebody was setting you up with a whole psychology based on this from the nature of you being you, who you was as a nationality to who you was transferred into by just the stroke of a pen and the stroke of a psychological nature of tormenting you in a psychological past. Now that those things are true. Certain people, when they say that the slavery and all the stuff that they done, even if it was not like as bad as they say, like or as much slaves as they say, because a lot of those slaves didn't make it over here. They did have a thing where they would psychologically beat you to a point to where it can pass down through genes. Rump breaking was a thing that they would do like that as well.
Yeah, that was actually right. It's crazy how it's actually somewhat true that trauma could be passed down from the DNA, I believe. That's what it was saying.
Yeah, and that's how you can separate niggas from ones who still hold nationality. Like the ones like us who don't play that and grow into natural natures, they wouldn't fuck with us on the street, even if we were by ourselves. We would be the last one they would pick with. But if they find niggas and stuff like that, they know what gets under a nigga's skin because they control niggas. So if they see a bunch of niggas and want to get a free kill off, all they got to do is do racism, is intellectual cowardice, or walk up to them, call them a nigga calmly. When shit get all hype and niggas get out of order, people start looking around like some white people getting hurt. Bam, there go their freedom of right to go ahead and stand their ground and shit. A lot of stuff like that happens. If people watch a lot of the shootings that happen like that, if you take the body the body characteristics and the formula that they're using while talking to people is to provoke people so they can have a reason, and people are not catching what's going on. Giving you two different commands confuses the mind at that. Pulling out guns will make somebody hostile, especially if you didn't do nothing. And then walking up on them like, I wish you would because I have a right to a nigga is already having a nigga like, I'm going to fight for my life because you can take it anyway. So they go through a bit of psychological training in order to trigger these type of psyches in people. That's why the book I was telling you about I have up here. This lady actually teaches
visual intelligence.
She actually teaches people stuff like that. Like not like that type of stuff, but she teaches them how to spot characteristics and things of that nature. So I'll be telling people, you need to go read all the people who teach all the people that are governing you right now, because most of your politicians aren't actually politicians. They're philanthropists, psychologists, and some of them motherfuckers probably archaeologists. That's just the improv stage room that they go in, and they're able to control what you do, how you do, when you do it. And if you see who most of them are, there are people who are born in the late 60s and early 80s and stuff like that. So the whole we're going to make a change type stuff, and these black people get on these political teams and selling you hope. Well, remember, they got a documentary called How to Sell to the Negro. People should watch it.
I agree with that completely. Yep, you're right. And especially with the visual intelligence, like how you said, these are not the puppets that are being like on national TV. These are philanthropists. These are psychological people. I mean, psychologists. I meant behavioral science, like B.F. Skinner type stuff. And the lady that you referenced in that book, I had dropped the link down below for them also to see. So this is all definitely. So do you believe like, okay, like the man and woman is like a machine? So what I meant by that is like the trigger points, like how you said police could walk down on somebody who mind is classified as black or being an N, and how they be like, I wish you would because, you know, I have people who stand on what I believe in, what I do. That just is mind blowing because and people be thinking that's just the only way it could be, but people fail to realize about what was it with Huey P. Newton? Like he was just all that, like, you know, highly educated brother, and was willing to go down and throw down with that. Although he'd been accused of shooting those two police officers, he declined it, but still, like, you kind of get where I'm coming at. Like he didn't put his mindset in that. But go ahead.
Yeah, the only way a brother will get involved in it real heavy and feel scared is if he had a nigga mind frame. He wouldn't know how to think his way out of it. Huey P was sitting there ready to go as far as it needed to the top of his course, just to sit here and be like, look, no matter where you take me to, I'm not going to lose my cool on something I know I have full facts about. So when you can back yourself like that, another mind frame, when you can outwit them in their wittiness, no matter how much they try to gaslight you, that's their favorite type of racism, is gaslighting, because most people around them look like them, and as a collective, they can push it down and look like nothing or ignore it when they're doing it. So if you want to beat this thing, you got to play it like Huey Newton, like just be cool about it and just record them. Most people don't know you can sue people for calling you black. That's a racial term. Most people don't get these words. Racial hate and racial, to be racial is nothing good, period. They're showing a supremacy over somebody. So when black people nowadays, this is how they doing reverse racism. When you be like, black is better than this, black is better than that, you're speaking, they know what that language means. So to them, you're claiming supremacy. So they're able to reverse it on you now because you're speaking their language. They taught you how to speak like that because what was you hearing first? White is this, white is that, white is this. Now you're hearing it from the opposite end. Now you have two supremacy teams going at each other, and under law, people who speak like that under racial definition are supremacists, because race has its own definition. It's not a person. It's not a nationality. It's not a people.
That's the information that they ain't ready for, that I believe some people ain't ready for. But I mean, you speaking facts right there, and that is
No, I
true
don't
when you
mean
take
any
a step.
diss. Yeah, I
No,
don't
no,
mean
go
any
ahead.
diss. Like I want the people to get paid. Like I want you to take that 1.5 million you're worth or 5 billion you're worth and learn how to work together and like get paid. What I would like to introduce to people is a system called like linking it in. Like when you see people create things, don't go to outlets and other sources for it. Go to your people for it. Like I don't care if you see somebody create a dance on TikTok and everybody else start using it. Don't give all those other people the main credit. Find that main person that's keeping people dancing and hit their cash out. Stop giving these people the money so you can be like, man, we doing all the creating, but we don't get nothing from it. They stealing it from us, but they don't get nothing from it. Well, let's play the game smarter than them. We got lawyers who are going to school who are in debt who don't get to do nothing with their degrees. They need to start being resources for the people who can create out their ass. You got people who are good in literature, arts. You got the whole scoreboard. But what are these people willing to do for each other without a dollar? They got black people wanting to do stuff for $1. They even turned yourselves into businesses so you can separate. But amongst themselves, they'll sit and talk like this, come up with solutions and put money together. And those who don't have a mind will sit in a room with those who do and put their money towards them. They don't have a problem doing shit like that. It's a no-brainer. How do you think that they got everything that they have now? They didn't have to do any work. That's why.
That's dang. All right, crap. My memory backing up lately today has been a lot. But I had wanted to piggyback off that, but that definitely is going to come. Oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Nope, it's not coming. My bad, brother. Go ahead, Flo. It's going to hit me.
Nah, I would just want everybody to start paying each other. You gotta, like, if you're the creators, and if, put it like this, if we were to stop doing everything right now, everything would drop. Except for these markets like Louis Vuitton and shit like that. If all these people who create, who are indigenous, was to block their channels and set up codes to where you would, like I would say, we need a black code to where before you could log into any of our stations, you wouldn't need to know certain phrases, like a certain language, like everybody, all black people aren't the same, and we come from different nationalities. So you would need to know certain shit that only what's considered black would know. Black would be able to be linguistic or bilingual amongst the umbrella of Africans or indigenous people, the umbrella of indigenous people. That's what black should be. It should be a code of intellect to where you can switch nationalities amongst all your people. And if you can't do that, then there's something wrong with you. We got a fronter amongst us. So if you can do that and you can push out the middleman and the people who are using you, everything that you always talk about and wanting amongst yourself can happen.
Oh, it came back to me. All right, shouts out to Mo Facts because we definitely talked about this, about me just writing down certain things so I don't forget about it. So what the question or the example I want to use back was you know, the term where people come, even I've been victim to this and I realized this too, when they be like, for people in movies or for people in person, they be like, why you sound white, or why you acting white, or why you sound black, and why you acting black. But when we go back in time, you got Huey P. Newton and Malcolm X. So like, what would they consider that? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, is that propaganda? Like, why at that time it wasn't on no, from my understanding, from my experience and what I had did history, like when I did my research, I haven't saw people been like, oh, you acting white or you sounding white to Malcolm X or Huey P. Newton or Marcus Garvey or all, you get what I'm saying?
It's a failure on our behalf. That's a failure on our behalf. That's the failure on our behalf on who as that sub people are black choose to let lead, and they choose the language that goes with it. Our Ebonics is actually a language. If we were to keep breaking down our words, we'll go back to our actual language. So if you keep picking people to lead and take from that give you words like "we are niggas," if you speak like this, you lame. If you keep giving that, then you see who everybody's following after. If they can control the narrative, you will always keep getting pushed further from the intellect and quicker to the fast lane. And people don't really bother being in the fast lane no more. They don't mind it. But the fast lane is going to take you down a road where you don't actually stop and read the details and what can ruin your life.
Oh yeah, my bad, Ty. I just hold on. I purposely drive outside my hood to support black-owned gas stations and conveniences. See, hey Bobby, any actionable gesture we can start at on a journey to generational health? I need help with a starting point, and I go from there. You understand what he's saying, Bobby?
Generational, yeah. If you mean health isn't like anything meaningful, what I would do with you every day is anybody around you, make sure that they're using their natural born gift to its best ability. Make sure they learn how to own themselves so when they grow up, they won't feel like they're owned by somebody or working for them. The best gift I've ever been able to give somebody is meaning. And to me, that's priceless because it comes with wisdom. And you can profit from wisdom if you learn how to utilize that tool in your own fashion. So the healthiest way to start a healthy environment for any of us is to pass on this. Yeah, we can joke sometime at each other, be like, yeah, yo, like you seem like you dominant in this, or crack jokes about how good we are in certain areas than other people. But as in take it into a toxic level, I wouldn't do no downplaying. If we need all good words and all with constructive criticism amongst ourselves, if anything, nowadays. That would keep the system healthy. It'll keep laughter and strong minds and keep everybody witty.
That's facts right there. You speaking to he said he said misspoke, but health too. That's what he said. Wealth, health. He was answering in the right way, like
Oh,
how you saying.
but
He was
well,
he was good, Bobby.
oh, bad.
But one thing dang, I should have just wrote that down also too. One thing I wanted to say, like how you spoke about generational wealth and building and making sure nobody lose their natural talent. It's we gotta understand that this is a program and this is a mindset, like how they brainwash some of our people into actually having a belief that we cannot own nothing and that we cannot have
Yes.
like natural resources. Go ahead.
Nah, yeah, I was just agreeing with you. I wasn't trying to cut you off. That's my fault.
Nah, you good. That's like you see this once in a while. They be like, we can't have nothing. We always try to build something. It's like a victim mentality, and I'm very anti against like that victim mentality mindset, especially for a brother. They like, we can never build nothing. We can, like, those words mean like something to me. It's like that's a mindset, and they've been successful at brainwashing you. Like, let's be real. And we see many examples of many successful indigenous people who have their own stuff, who owned it, but yet we still keep some of us still keep speaking in existence that we can never
Nah, you
have
know who they all
ownership.
call
But
them? It's niggas. Niggas speak like that. That's who it is. If you want to say who talks like that, niggas talk like that. If matter of fact, it's so bad that at the end of the day, before we go hang around our own people who we know are good that's hanging out somewhere, we ask how many niggas are there ourselves.
that's true.
Some of us turn on being a nigga and we know we're far from being that. We just know we have to survive when we want to go be around people that look like us. And it's sad to be accountable. Most people are not going to want to see it like that. But the ones who are willing to admit it, who came from having and didn't have it, like had a balance in life and like had stuff and didn't have stuff and had people to teach them, they even tell you, yeah, I'm asked before I go somewhere, even if they do look like me, how many niggas there, because I know what niggas bring. It's just like a white nigga, but it's more raw and anything can happen at any time. It's
And
just
that
more
is actually
stupid. That's
true.
it.
My bad. Like how you said that with that other reference, the WN, that is actually true also. That's a mindset. That's when I start to realize these past couple of years that it's definitely a mindset, especially in Florida. But go ahead.
Yeah, I had to tell myself that growing up. Like, bro, when I said, like, last time we talked, I was like, I used to be active, but I was a fucking demon. But I was aware going through my stages. I was like, man, if this is what a nigga does and this is what black does, this is not real. Like, I've tested it out to see if, like, I stepped outside my nationality before. I'm not going to stunt to you because I was like, I got tired of that, man, you're not a nigga. Like, I used to get hell for that. Like, I used to get hell for that. And I started going through it. I was like, man, this shit is not bringing me anything. I'm always around people who don't really like each other. I got to carry a gun around these motherfuckers half the time. On top of that, when I'm riding around with most of these people, if the shit that's on them, if we get pulled over, they're gonna ask me to get into some trouble with them. Like, no, and if I don't, it can result into me getting killed, having to kill one of them anyway. Either way it go, when I'm around some niggas, if something happens that has nothing to do with me and I don't take a fall for it with them niggas, it might equal death. And I didn't want no parts of it.
And that's being a complete honest truth. There's situations where you're in your neighborhood or even at family get-togethers, at the dysfunctional cookouts and everything. And if you don't know how to turn that on to fit in, to be a sheep, if you still a wolf, they either don't want to hang around you, they'll be intimidated by you, or they'll feel threatened by you, and they might result into physical attack or verbal.
And that's a fact. Like, I've hung around people who do street shit, but they were so sophisticated, bro. They was like, I ain't even gonna stunt to you. It grew on me because it was like I didn't know it was this type of people. I live in downtown New Haven, Connecticut, and the whole campus is, man, that whole block at Square is Yale University. I've kicked it with people from that school who brothers, sisters, all kind of family members who've actually done hardcore shit just to get them away from that stuff. Like, I've experienced talking to a lot of different type of people, like a lot of different type of people, and they'll tell you, like, those people will tell you coming from where we come from as well, no matter what you call a race or skin tone. They was like, the most disgusting thing that they told me to stay away from was niggas. And every time they met somebody as they grew through their chapters that looked like us or looked like one of us, they would have a nationality. They would come with culture. But when they would kick it by themselves, yeah, they would play the trap music and stuff like that. But they would listen to the people who were doing less trying to show that they were still involved and just actually living out the story that they had built up to tell, or who get in the shit, but who keep it out the way and don't try to get, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to use it for clout. And we still have our time to where we tap into our deep nature of who we are hardcore. But at the end of the day, it's not considered black. To be black on the inside is to be dark. So at the end of the day, why don't we make black a code instead of a skin and a racial term? If they can't break the code because they're studying you daily, your dancing, your rhythmic moves, all that, your language. If they can't break the code and they're not really wanting you and they don't want to see you go forward. But if they be like, oh, you got to be a nigga and stuff like that, look at who's trying to hold you back. And I'll just say it like that clearly, because you can't take that person any ideas at all. And some people, let me clear this up. Some people may call themselves a nigga, but really want to let it go because they know they have intellectual status. But it's something that they classify with, and they get love from other people. It's like a gang. They get love from other people, so they don't want to let it go. That's it.
You're absolutely right there. And I want to piggyback off that by talking about how some of us get the word hate and constructive criticism, mixed up together, like it's all in one. So let's say if I come on your channel, Bobby Cash, and I don't know you from a can of paint, and I see you talk about the blacks being a term used as an oppression, and you could be indigenous, aboriginal, Moor, native.
Yeah.
I could go to your channel, and let's say if you got like a big following, I go to your channel, I try to give you constructive criticism about that by saying you should approach it in a softer tone. You shouldn't say like this and that, like, which is really wild, but still I do that. And you got people talk about young Grump, you're hating, stop trying to vice versa. You don't know me from a can of paint. You come on my channel, you see me talking to other people and I'm using certain words, and you, like, with all due respect, give constructive criticism. So can you please address that about how when somebody speaks on somebody, it don't be in a bad way, they get constructive criticism mixed with hating?
Man, I've almost lost my life to niggas like that. I'm gonna say it straight like that. Those type of niggas are the most dangerous type of motherfuckers to me. And honestly, before I have conversations with that type of person or that type of nigga, that deeply nigga spirit, I'll go ahead and decide if it goes there, do I have to kill this nigga or should I just walk away now? Because if you cross a nigga when it comes to that type of spirit, they'll fight you and kill you for it. I'm not even joking with you. I don't even want to cuss too much to get the video blocked. But if you disagree with a nigga or try to take that from him, one or two things are going to happen. More than likely both. You're going to get in a fight, and if you beat his ass, you're going to get shot or jump. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie to you. If the nigga's rooted in that person like that deeply, I'll just let them comment. I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, you should see how toxic being a nigga is, how bad spiritually it is to be a nigga. If somebody's saying that they're not a nigga like you, offends you. Or if somebody's giving you facts about how it was created just to keep you in a mind frame that you in, it makes you want to come off like that. So if you have a reaction like that with your flesh so badly, you're not in control anymore. And I'm going to use the wisdom that I've learned, and I'm going to keep my distance, because if you're not trying to talk, I don't have the time to be getting into stupid shit. I don't have time for nigga shit. So I'll tell that person, leave your comments, because I can use that. If you wanted to speak, I'd rather bring you on. But if it's going to lead to you saying something, I'm a type of person, you can say all the things that strike the flesh, but watch your tone, because you might say something spiritually. And from there, it can be a whole nother situation. So
Okay.
those type of people need to feel free with commenting without being cared to be seen, rather than try to do it to get somewhere.
So you want to come to the assumption that some brothers who have that mindset, it's like the fear of their pride or their identity being violated or taken from them is like lead to death or the destruction. So like how you said, it will result in a fight. And if they lose the fight, it results into shooting. And you know this, and I know this, and many other people from different aspects of this world know it. And why is that, though, do you think?
A nigga is a spirit that was conjured up from negative connotations. If you always hear what a nigga was, even niggas will say it sometimes, well, I don't see why you don't call yourself a nigga. That's what them white people call you. So at the end of the day, whatever a white person is called a nigga, that's what a nigga lives off of. White people call me nigga and we savage. So at the end of the day, we savages. But at the end of the day, you're putting a bad term on a set of tribe members who come from the term that actually means savages, because they wanted honor in who they were, which is Seminoles. So for you to go around and be like, I'm a savage and put yourself in a bad definition, or be like, I'm a nigga this, I'm a nigga that. Well, what you're doing, buddy, is you're setting yourself up for failure. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Like, keep that shit far away from people. Because if you don't care about yourself that much, you damn sure don't care about nothing around.
I agree. I definitely agree right there. What's up with people in the chat though? Shouts out to Sierra, Smith and Wesson, Jordan, Ty be trolling, and what's
Hey, I
other
got an
ones?
honest question.
Go ahead.
I got a question for you. What makes you want to hold on to the nigga or the black spirit? Well, like, especially if I can give you information letting you know that somebody else created it. You want these people not to even be able to say the word, but you want to say the word like you're taunting them or something. It's crazy. It's like you want to self-hate without admitting to self-hate. So you want to be able to call yourself the nigga, but the person who invented it, you don't want them to be able to hate on you like that. So you want to hate on you without knowing you hating on you. And then when you rap a song about killing niggas, you want to kill yourself and hate on you at the same time. Because that double conundrum would never make sense to me. How are there any different type of niggas? Like, if you can categorize, what is it like? How does it go? Nigga 1, nigga 2, nigga 3, nigga 4. Or do these niggas come from different places? Do you got to label them Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas? Like, how does that work? Because if you can't separate niggas and you say a song like, I don't like niggas, but then turn around, I'm that nigga, that's the same person still.
It kind of reminds me.
You put it.
Oh yeah, my bad. It kind of reminds me of the term that they use amongst many of the women, the female dog term. Like, you get what I'm saying? Does it kind of goes in collision with that? I'll let you go.
Yeah, like, what you mean by like calling them like a bitch or something like that?
Correct.
Oh yeah, the dog term. I wouldn't call a female that unless she get like that, and she don't even have to act like that all the time. If you act like something, that's you giving people rights to call you that. That's just like at the end of the day, I know I'm an asshole. So if somebody was to walk up and meet me and be like, bro, you're an asshole, but the shit you saying truthful, I would respect them just for being honest and they're saying the fact. I don't think people should be offended at being called what they label themselves as if you're not going to stand up for or at least take what comes with it. So if you can't take what comes with the label or the connotations you put on yourself, why be mad at someone else?
Okay, so I say that like with the rappers who are women, the exotic dancer rappers, and they be like, I'm a bad bee, and like, you know, I'm the realest bee. And when they talk down on the other woman, they be like, that's a dirty, that's a roach bee, that's they, you know, they give
Yeah,
them,
like,
they use
it's
the
no
same
difference.
terminology. Go ahead.
Like, the bitches come from the same place though. At the end of the day, because if you listen to that other bitches, oh shit, she gonna say she came from that place, or later in a different song she could say it. Same CD, same disc. I mean, same disc or same however they do the shit online, same playlist. They asses gonna later on say that they came from the hood like that as well. So it's a
So
double conundrum once again.
it goes to co-line with the insular term. So for instance, like they be like, I'm a bad bee, I don't like bees, right? They'll say that, and then on the next
Mm-hmm.
one, they be like, "You see my best friend? That's my bad bee." You get what I'm saying? So,
See what
is
I'm
it the
saying?
same thing? Is the same thing with us
It,
with the terminology? Go
it,
ahead.
yep, it's the same exact thing. Because even if she referred to her friend being a bad bee later on in the song somewhere else, now her and her friend done came from being the same type of bee that they said that they wasn't. They forgot to tell people that they were. It's just now I'm not. They don't wanna keep pointing that term out. I used to be. They'll pop it in there real quick, but the verse that's coming after that has to be something luxurious. That's it.
That's correct right there. And just like how, okay, Sierra said it's all about tone and context. That is correct to a certain aspect. And shouts out to MoFax because we did have to talk about this a couple of days ago about tone. Like,
Hey, but
we, go
that's
ahead,
where
go ahead.
intelligence comes in. I'm sorry, I had to go ahead and say that. Well, if
You
y'all
good?
gonna speak to each other like that, then y'all need to separate and know how to rock in frequency, because what's up can also mean something in a different way just by the energy you put behind it. What's up can lead to somebody's death in our language at the end of the day. So if everybody doesn't have that pass, what type of person gets that pass? What kind of characteristics do they hold? So we need to put standards on this. That's why we need to quit the niggas, and we need to put nationalities and things in order. So when you go to like, nah, I don't take respect from that nationality of what's considered African or indigenous. I don't take that type of indigenous nature calling me a bitch, but since you from this one and it has more respect in my eyes, you can call me that. We don't have that type of communication. So without people actually being that up front, we're gonna have disadvantages with that.
And when you said what's up, it reminded me of that song that Trick Daddy and Trina did. It was like, okay, what's up, shut up. And you was saying the tone of that. So that would have that's the reference that came in my head. So you are absolutely right about that.
So we'll have to do more communicating. We'll have to actually push out the people. Y'all gonna have to quit worrying about what the fuck somebody doing hating on you. You're gonna have to learn how to use that. Because right now, y'all need to sit down as a nationality. We're gonna call it indigenous and Africans, natives, Afro Mexican. And no matter what you are, you got melanin on you. You need to sit down and y'all need to come up with a black code of like teaching each other different languages and seeing who cool with who and who likes who, calling them what, and who coming off on them funny and telling jokes. If you don't, you're gonna have so much. The unity is not gonna happen. For one, because you're not going to have a level of frequency to match on. Everybody's not going to know how to flow with each other. But if you get a nationality and know what flows with each other, then you can mix and match and you can do your thing.
That's absolutely right there. That is. And we some of us are starting to wake up, or some of us are starting to take a step back and think for ourselves and realize that, because that terminology that we want to hold to in our identity could be detrimental. Because, for example, you remember during those the political times where they were voting and all that, you got many people who be like, are you voting? And you'll be like, no, I'm not voting. Or you'll pick a side, but most will be like, I'm not trying to do that. And they'll hit you with that our ancestors died for the right to vote, the regurgitation of the information. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you're supposed to be a strong black, like, what do you think about that? That's like detrimental. Go ahead.
To me, I see those as the Catcher Freedmen that was on Boondocks. Those are the ones those are the niggas that the politicians use to send out there and be like, nah, we need them to come back. Those, to me, those are the Catcher Freedmen and the motherfuckers that they handed the Bible to keep other people in order. That's for real, because they wear suits and shit like that. And the Catcher Freeman ones are the ones at street level with them and tell a man, like, you need to think about our ancestors, nigga. What you mean? At the end of the day, we still gonna be niggas if we don't do something about this. They use that shit on themselves, bro. If you don't vote, man, we can't change this shit, nigga. Don't you want to change this, and that? And I'm sitting here like, bro, you really buying into the same shit for 400 years. They've been telling you this for 400 years. Don't run the scoreboard up to 500 because you're getting that close.
That's
it's the same thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's the same thing. They're selling you hope. You better quit eating it.
I agree completely. That psychological operations being in full effect right there. Remind me of that scene off of Birth of a Nation when they brought that Catcher Freeman in there with the Bible, and it was knocking out the people's teeth, and the person was saying, I hope you do some good preaching or something, and this is why I talk about that terminology where I'm from South Carolina, where, like how you said, well, what's up and all that. I come from a background where come here, boy. Like we don't tolerate that, because you know what I'm saying. So that's why I'm just saying, like, yeah. So
I'm from North Carolina originally, and where I'm from, they got a place called Golden Valley. And when I grew up, the Klan still live out there. We don't do that boy shit, that yuns, that most people don't know. They got languages. They be like, yuns, that shit mean you niggas. When they say black in our parts, they really mean color. They like, people don't grasp that shit. Like when people come from areas that's still heavily rooted like that, we don't like the term boys, or some of us don't actually like the term nigga. Some of us don't like the term use or black, or it's real different. I don't think they actually visit the deep countrysides of like the states that were first colonizing racism. They need to visit those areas and see how motherfuckers is like they getting far from anything except those labels.
Exactly. When they be like y'all people or them, those are other terminologies that could be affected, but they don't know that lingo like that. So yeah, I'm glad you spoke about that for real, because that is, you got to have an understanding. You got to be in tune with that, and you got to see what's going on really behind the scenes on how they keeping people who look like us but have a different mindset trapped. And that's being the top, like how you said, being black is a stock, and it's at an all-time high right now. And you want to know why it's at an all-time high right now? Just like how you explained, many ways.
So the people, all I want my people to know is if you actually take the time to step back and be like, all right, let me put my blackness aside and let me put my nationality, what I'm birthed under God first, and let me dig deep and see what this is about. Let me go back and read the things or hear the things that he said and go look it up, or let me catch the next live he on and just actually hear what he's saying, and then go back and look at reality, and you'll be like, damn, they really do live like that. Like, listen to them talk about reparations. They'll tell you we don't have a number for that. But if you look at them now, they're talking about having a number for that almost, but you have to prove that you come from slaves. But they're opening up all tribes again. In my region where we come from, you can go and be Cherokee now. Even those of heavy brown nature and black nature can actually run for chief councils and stuff of that nature again. So you're probably gonna get your reparations soon. But with the economy going down like it is, they're gonna want you back in those tribes so those First Nation people within those tribes can get the money and push it right back to the economy. So you may be getting reparations sometime soon. Who knows? I'm not gonna give you no like hope or nothing like that. But they're asking you to have nationalities now. Like that's actually becoming a topic out here. And the more I see people try to hop on this train and give half-ass information, please watch people who are coming to tell you this, because some people will try to tell you some shit to run out there and get you killed, because they'll be like, well, you don't have to respect anything. No, like you must learn the Western European indoctrination rules. Don't go out here and thinking you scot-free because you claim a nationality. Until those resources get built, you're still a target because you don't have a collective. So you're still amongst niggas who you can get camouflage for. So that's the only trick.
I like how you said. Can you please, when you said that you don't have, I forgot what you said, but you was like you could easily get camouflage amongst the others who don't have it. So can you repeat that again?
Oh, basically can't get in camouflage. So basically, those of us who have nationalities, we won't be seen as like immigrants coming from like Africa and stuff like that, or other First Nations that we like actually come from. We won't be seen as that when we get our status. So when we walk around, we will be camouflaged as one of them because we've already been over here. They can tell by our demeanors, our nature, but they also do know we come from different nationalities. But the more it adds up of you being American, and they do one of those random stops on you and everything checks out, it's a go from there. They can camouflage you. They can hit you with the same story as the last person. They can hit you with the same identity as the last person, like the characteristics and all, and say you were just causing a problem. And there go your another story. Another black man in America either causing a problem or he got shot by mistake for looking like somebody else.
And I got an example for you. So that is true, but like there was times where the NOI, like a NOI in a suit, getting violated like that. That was very slim and very rare. Do you agree?
Yeah, you don't see no Africans over here getting violated like that because they're open hand your ass still. You don't see no Jamaicans getting handled like that. You're damn sure not gonna see them Haitians getting handled like that. Anything that
Absolutely
comes with
not.
a nationality, they're not fucking with it like that. If they do have to go in those neighborhoods, they're sending in heavy shit, not no common shit, because you know what's in their minds. We went to war with these people. They still have their nationality. We don't want that shit happening again because they have people backing them. If they go fuck with the black people, they don't get it yet. They don't get who they are yet. They're still arguing over this shit. They can't even come to terms. We can go fuck with them and we can get off because they don't sit down and read. They don't know that they're under an indoctrination that they must learn as a nationality to stay away from, but just follow the rules and we'll be okay with you. They don't get that yet. So we can go in their neighborhoods and just be destructive and tear up shit.
And I would like to put this up in here. We're not talking about some people's favorite rappers who are like from Zoe heritage, like Glock 9 or any rapper who have wicks. Because I'm in Florida as we speak right now. I know when there's
Oh
somebody who,
no, no, no. I'm giving
yeah,
props to that. I'm sorry. I'm glad you said it. No, I give props to that because y'all neighborhoods are locked down. That means at the end of the day, unless y'all need some help, y'all let people know. We're not gonna cause no trouble to you. What we do over here, leave it to us, and you won't have no problems out of us because they don't bother nobody. I'm glad you said it. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that is something that needs to be said.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you explained that thoroughly because there are areas within Florida that are very tied in with the Zoes. Like I'm talking like Haitian like bloodline. Like this ain't no black stock being presented to the whole world. We talking about like Zoe Connect that
Yeah.
I know damn sure for a fact that the police is not running up in there. No. They're not, you know what I'm saying? Like how you said, any other neighborhoods where most of them are considered black, that terminology, they will not think twice about running through that. But when we talk about that specific area, yeah, even with the Jamaicans too, or Cambodians. But go ahead.
They're not running in. Man, at the end of the day, they still do piracy. I'm not gonna say which one because that's going too far, but just
Okay.
put it like this: they so traditional with their nature still, bro. They get boats coming in with cargo ships on them. They're not fucking around. They know how to play this constitutional game, how it go. You at war with everybody else, so at the end of the day, you need our help over here. You need us to keep this area down packed so your police don't have to come over here. So whatever boats and shit we want, you shut up. Because if you don't, we're gonna expose you as well. And that's how it goes.
Business. That's business right there. I'm glad you explained it like that. Is there any other thing that you want to come with an ultimatum with before we close
Oh,
down this live? Go ahead, brother.
nah, I just want to say I appreciate it once again, everybody. I'm getting like a few more new things for the equipment so things can be a little better for you. I want to appreciate anybody who's watching, tuned in, has any questions. Once again, I want to say if I offended anybody when I have first appeared on anything on any platform, let me take accountability for that. I just want you to be a strong people and know you actually need a nationality and a nation of resources in order to help where you're going. And you do have the ability to do it. Everybody needs to learn how to be a chief and a leader in their own way and be okay with that, though. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm glad
But
you
I
had
appreciate
used that. Go
my
ahead.
fault. Go ahead. My fault.
No, I'm just glad that you had went back and used that reference. Like I said in the other lives, it takes a man, because you could easily be like some others and be like, I said what I said, and it is what it is, and people will go along with it. But there will be many people who just sensitive to the air. They be like, no, I'm not rocking with that. So you evolving and you still growing, blossoming. I respect that to the most because that mean a lot right there. What you just said right there probably saved many people to still. Let me go ahead and check him out for real. Let me see what he's talking about. I like, oh, he's saying I'm this and that. Like I have to think for myself. That's overall what you're saying, right? Think for yourself,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We need a lot. Everybody, if you can learn how to think for yourself intellectually and come up with blueprints, we can sit in the rooms just like they sit in them round table rooms and have our own studies and libraries and actually come up with solutions. And you can build those Black Wall Street back. But why don't you make it an indigenous lane and a wealth that you can pass down like they do for their children? Trust funds of counties or buildings inside of counties that can't go to nobody else but you or somebody close to your lineage or somebody that you was best friend with and their children if you don't have children or something like that, or people you just want to take care of and you want a business with. But you do need that. If you do black or something like that, that won't hold no trust in the long run, and somebody can take your land like they did at the Jim Crow and the tribe started selling us and stuff like that. So we don't need a repeat of that. That's the biggest repeat that y'all don't want. And the only way you can get is if you can come together like that.
That's well said right there. We got one troll before we get off. Is Young Muskie. He never fails. He, you gotta get a little laughter in. He says, "Yo, hat and dreads attached?" Question mark.
Hey, that's what I mean. We need that though. See, this is the type of humor I say we would need amongst ourselves. So
I just look at that shit, bro. We comment that, I look at that shit. I was like, bro, I don't know why I thought about that cinnamon guy off that Apple Jacks box, man. I swear, like that apple and the cinnamon. You're like, here I come, like, dog, this is a troll, man. I ain't mad at you, man. Damn, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that. No shit.
Again,
Oh,
I
that was hilarious.
appreciate you definitely for coming in here and sharing your intellectual property and attacking it in many ways. That means a lot to me and a lot to the other supporters who come over here on this panel. Because as you speak, there was a person that had contacted me individually saying that they had, like how they had misunderstood what you was delivering out. So I appreciate you going back and saying that again because you saved one person right there and many others who watch this replay. So that is much appreciated. But hopefully we get you on weekly again, right?
Yeah. I'm just right now the work schedule switched up a little bit, and so that'll give me time to get this new little bit of equipment, and then I'll be back on going for my page from there, and I'll still come on here. I just appreciate all the love, to be honest.
Oh yeah, my bad. Before you hop up, I got his link to his channel in my description down below. And on top of that, I'm about to go ahead and drop his link to his YouTube channel right now. You definitely gotta. What was I about to ask you? No, you already turned your comments on, I believe. Yeah, you had to turn your comments on your channel so people could comment, because if you put yes for children, they're gonna be like, okay, we turn the comments off, and you be like, why? They be like, because 8-year-old who's watching your video, it could be some sick person who be like, hey, where you stay at? And the kid drop their whole address under your video. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's why they had turned the comments off for videos that are specifically for children or children could watch to like protect them.
Bet. And anybody who watch my videos, unless you're gonna think deeply, don't go in, because I'm not giving you the information like this. I'm actually giving you placebo somewhere, and I'm giving you truth just to drag you in, so you will actually have to sit down, think, and learn.
I agree. I like that placebo effect, and like how like the pill inside the sandwich technique that helps out a lot too. Many ways to attack it. Salutes to everybody who's coming in the chat. Yeah, Young Muskie, you could get that laugh off right there. It says Bobby Cash plays another celebrity. They're saying that you no, Bobby Cash comes with. They said I look like Honeycomb. No, they said I am Honeycomb Brazy. They said Ayo is Pimp C. Like, you know, I don't know what they say you are. I'm just waiting for them to go in the comments to, like, you know, hit you. You know how they say clones and stuff. So yeah, you got Ayo is Pimp C. I'm Honeycomb Brazy, and they about to come up right now. We're gonna wait, and they about to come up with who they gonna say you a clone of, or who you hiding your identity of. And I can't wait before we hop off. I gotta see this right here.
I already know the list of names they can choose from.
Oh yeah, she said she just subbed to you. Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for Ty to text back, because Ty be the main one. Ty or Sierra.
I appreciate that sub too.
Yeah, appreciate you, Christina. She's from Miami, holding it down. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, look at this. He said, Kevin, Charleston White, Cat Williams, take off.
Hey, they well.
This dude crazy. This dude said, take off, bro. Take off, man. Like, what the heck? And he said, Cat Williams, man. I'm done.
Y'all wow, man. Next time, pick me an actual name, bro. Y'all wow.
That boy's he just threw out a list right there. I think he about to try to pick through one of them, but that's where it's heading at next time. So I guess if you just start talking crazy, or if you start doing something, they be like, oh, that's that takeoff effect coming in right there. They said, let me hear an ad lib. That boy roasting, man. I'm about to be done with them. We appreciate y'all for definitely taking your time. For spending your time to talk to this heavily intelligent brother right here. He said Charleston White is Catty Williams. Oh, he said Charleston White is Cat Williams.
Crucial.
Cat actually is the only self-made comedian. I gotta do my research on it, but I definitely will believe it, you know, because we like how Bobby Cash said, it's just a mindset at the end of the day. And I ain't gonna hold y'all up too long. I may do another live. I'm not sure. If
you do, I'll be on, man. I'm gonna be up for a little bit, but I'm gonna get off here real quickly though myself and go grab something to eat.
All right, but Crystal said you look like Jeff from American Dad, so I'm about to go ahead and just end it like that, man. I don't even know who Jeff is, but hey, we ended this, bro. All right, bro. Y'all made him leave, bro. Y'all made him leave.